with Azeez Syed.
Azeez is the Managing Director and Regional Head for the Americas for Olam Agri. And he is going to talk to us today about global cotton supply and demand.
Azeez?
Thank you, Bruce, and hello, everybody. Yeah, look, come on. Finally, we are getting into a year with a large global production. Finally, we're looking at potentially a surplus balance sheet. The latest forecasts of USD are forecasting production increase year on year of about 5% to 119 million bales of global production. And the consumption is also forecasted to grow for the second consecutive year at around 3% to about 117 million bales. Looking at the supply side first, and let's start with the US. We have the AXA convention.
Sure.
There's a lot of excitement about the US crop here, particularly in the southwest region, which is Texas. That region has been through terrible drought over the last 3 years and very poor crops. And finally, we've had good rains over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and that crop is set up to produce somewhere closer to the normal crop. In US, generally the crop is off to a good start. It's an early start. Yeah, there have been areas in southeast and in the delta area where there have been excess rains and which delayed planting a little bit, and consequently maybe some acres have shifted to beans. But irrespective, we are looking at about 4 to 5% increase in planted area in the US. About 20.7 million acres is the USDA focus at this point of time. But I personally believe it's going to be larger than that. It's good for the entire industry, for the growers, for the ginners, for logistics and the merchants to handle.
Quick question, Azeez. Will more supply, particularly if Texas really has a big crop, put more downward pressure on prices?
I don't think necessarily means lower prices. I think
Good.
we have already, the market where it's trading currently is already priced in that excess supply and potentially larger crops.
So how about demand? How do you see demand coming in?
A good question, Bruce. I mean, before we get to demand, I mean, one quick point that we need to note is, of course, the ENSO conditions. I mean, the ENSO oscillations are transitioning from El Nino to La Nina, which could potentially bring in dry weather conditions in Texas. Coming to the demand, look, there've been several factors playing in here. Over the last 2 years, we've seen significant buildup in inventories across the textile value chain. Coming off COVID, there was a spurt of demand, spurt of consumption, spurt of restocking, the inventories, and that led to an excess buildup of inventories. But over the last 18 months, the industry has been working through those inventory levels, and finally, I think we've come back to current inventory levels have come back to somewhere closer to the 5-year average before COVID. So that's a healthy sign for demand recovery. So one of the reasons why we've been seeing poor demand is, one, there was a lot of inventories across the value chain. Inflation has been high, the interest rates have been high. That's impacted consumer sentiment. And nobody in the value chain really wanted to carry inventories with the cost of carry so high. Europe is looking like it's coming out of recession, so which is good for the markets like Turkey, Greece, etc., which supply into Europe. Even for Bangladesh and Pakistan, who export a lot into Europe. So Europe is looking like coming off a recession. US consumption and retail demand is holding reasonably strong. But then again, what we need to be cautious about is what really happens on the interest rate cycles. If rate easing gets delayed, it might impact consumer sentiment, and that can impact global demand as well. And one other factor is we have to look at market volatility. If cotton prices remain very volatile, that might again be disadvantageous and vis-a-vis man-made fibers in terms of the consumption mix. So yeah, 2 things to watch out for on the supply side. I think how the weather plays out. On the demand side, what happens on the interest rate cycles. But otherwise, I think we're looking at a pretty healthy supply-demand situation and the recovery of consumption over the next couple of years.
Cautiously optimistic then.
Cautiously optimistic is what I'm saying here. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Thank you, Azeez.
Thank you, boss. Thanks for that.